I have saved the best, or should I say the worst, for last. And yes, this is real. Godzilla versus Charles Barkley. Yes, this is real. Now, it's funny, too, because I was walking around a flea market, and this guy was selling comics. Just a few random comics. I can't remember the other ones. In fact, actually, no, this was the only thing I bought because I was looking, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually real, because I never thought this was real. Apparently what it is, it's a comic book that Dark Horse did for shits and giggles for kind of like a Nike commercial where it was a Nike commercial back in the 90s where Charles Barkley fought not Godzilla, due to international copyright law. It was not Godzilla. Oh boy. So, out of that, we got this. You know, I can forgive Punisher meets Archie because that had some fun to it, and it was kind of interesting. You know, just bringing the Punisher to Riverdale, and meeting the cast of Archie in the most funniest way. This, on the other hand, I can understand that they were trying to make something funny. It just comes off sad. I'm sorry. In here, off the coast, it starts off the coast of California, and I will say this: the artwork in here is awesome. Godzilla looks amazing in this comic book. I mean, when Dark Horse owned when Dark Horse owned the rights to Godzilla way back when, they owned it for a long time, but now IDW owns the rights to Godzilla. And pretty much what's in here is, what we get is some amazing artwork. I'm going to look up the artwork right now. Jeff Butler does pencils, Keith Atkin does inks, and James Sinclair does colors. The artwork looks actually very reminiscent to Arthur Adams, who did a lot of artwork for Godzilla as well as The Incredible Hulk for a while, and a few other he's best known for doing monster artwork on monster-esque characters, and his artwork on Godzilla is really good. So that's Arthur Adams. He's also done like Fantastic Four and a lot of other stuff, but he's best known for drawing monsters and looking damn good at it. But this is really good too. So the artwork is the one thing I'm going to give it. And in here, it basically starts off the coast of California. Godzilla just basically rips a ship in half. Why? Because he's Godzilla, that's why. And then we cut to a boy named Matthew and his grandfather who have the worst dialogue, and they're going to see Charles Barkley, who's doing like a video shoot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Charles Barkley's having a video shoot, and they get discredited and kicked out because they wanted to see Charles, and his grandfather gives him this quote unquote magic coin. And then I'm gonna skip ahead to Godzilla comes to California and starts stomping stuff, and the military of course tries to stop him. They can't do anything, and suddenly the boy Matthew gets the dumbest idea in the universe. He thinks Charles Barkley is Earth's greatest warrior and is going to give the magic coin to him, and he's convinced only you can stop Godzilla. Alright. And, of course, he goes to Charles Barkley and crashes into him, and Matthew tells Charles, you're the only one who could stop Godzilla. And then Charles Barkley fires all of his managers and endorsers. Yes, he totally would do that in real life, wouldn't he? I know this is a comic book about a basketball player fighting a 50-foot radioactive imaginary monster. My suspension of disbelief, on the other hand, can only go so freaking far. But anyway, to cut the crap, Charles Barkley flips the magic coin and grows to 50 feet tall. Grows into a 50-foot tall giant, where he goes to face off with Godzilla, who hasn't killed anybody yet. He's destroyed a lot of stuff, but he hasn't killed anybody yet. And then Charles Barkley says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna totally lead Godzilla out of here with my magical giant basketball, and I'm gonna lead him out of the city, and we're gonna fight. We're gonna battle on this what I guess is a space station, I think, or it could be a radio tower, I can't remember, but it looks like a basketball hoop, and they're going to play for the fate of the world with basketball. Yes, Godzilla apparently being a tiny-brained monster, and hope I'm not, as a true G fan, I know Godzilla can be intelligent, or he could not. I know Godzilla is a very intelligent monster. It differs on movies, that's the problem. Godzilla's intelligence differs on movies, but no matter what incarnation of Godzilla, there is no way you could convince me that this monster knows the rules of basketball and knows how to play it. I know this is supposed to be a silly comic, but when you're basing it off a Nike commercial, which they don't the concept of the giant Nikes, yes, Godzilla at the end of this gets giant Nikes after he gets pissed off that he doesn't win the basketball game for the fate of all mankind. And Barkley, instead of defeating Godzilla, just basically says, I'm going to teach you to shoot hoops. We get the most PG ending ever. That's pretty much it. That's the comic in a nutshell. Again, I know, yes. Why am I complaining? Because I know this is a stupid comic. Then why did I buy it? For the novelty of it. Because, how else are you going to find this, right? And, again, I know this is meant to be a dumb comic, but, my suspension of disbelief can only go so far, and I know I shouldn't be complaining. I really shouldn't. But it's just hilarious that Dark Horse, I think what Dark Horse was trying to do was more or less try to, make fun of that commercial, since, hey, we own the rights to Godzilla, wouldn't it be funny? Yeah. And also, there was, I think the other thing was, this was more or less to show off their other ads, because in this comic book, there are a lot of ads for Dark Horse's other original stuff, like X, Sin City, Frank Miller's Sin City, Touch of Liberty, a lot of other obscure stuff like Monkey Man and O'Brien, Dark Horse Presents, Grendel. This is more or less like just to show off all their Dark Horse ads. So I think this is more led to be, more like an ad campaign book in some ways. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to save the best or worst for last. And if you find this, would I say pick this up? Only if you want it for the sheer novelty of it. That's it. There's nothing. The only thing I can say about it really is the artwork is just really good. I'll say that much. And I know, yes, it's a total novelty, and I know I've said that several times in this video, but that's the point I'm trying to get across, because, oh boy. But yeah, the artwork is really good. I'll give it that much. But other than that, just get it for the novelty. I wouldn't spend over $1 for this, yeah. I pretty much paid $1 for this, and I'm glad I did. I wouldn't spend over, if you really want to get it, yeah, just for the novelty, like, haha, Godzilla vs. Barkley, this would be so funny to own, just to say I own it. That's more or less what this comic book is, just to like, hey, look what this obscure thing I found. That's more or less what you're getting into. Anywho, hope you guys enjoyed this myriad of fun crossovers, and I really want to know what you guys thought of this one. And who knows, maybe I might do this not as like a segment video, but maybe in the far future I'll dig up some more obscure crossovers that are fun, or just terrible, or whatever, and I'll talk about them. But anywho, I'm out.